back here with us on Overdrive. Now, just before the break, we've been acquainting you with the Mercedes-AMG EQS, the all-electric vehicle from Mercedes-Benz in India today. And now we are trying to find out whether it delivers on what makes it a true AMG.
Now, to really experience the duality of the EQS 53 that we were talking about, you do have to change drive modes. Because when you put it in Sport or Sport Plus, it changes that synthesized sound that's piped into the cabin, and that makes a huge difference. While this is a top-tier AMG, the drive modes top out at Sport Plus. There is no race here, I think mainly by virtue of the fact that you're getting everything at max in any case. That said, Sport Plus is still the mode that you want to be in if you want to get the feel of an AMG from this EQS 53. It just sharpens everything up, and that synthesized sound definitely earns its keep. Because when you do put it in Sport Plus and you put your foot down, you get that anger, you get that fury. It almost feels like a full AMG. The build-up of pace is rapid, and it does it so silently. This could be your stealth vehicle. You even hear that slight wobbling when you stop at idle, and it plays inside the car and outside it. So when you step out and the car's still idling, you hear it, and it does make you feel like you're standing next to something special. Not quite an AMG, but hey, like we said, we've got to embrace the change. While something like the EQS 580 is entirely capable of giving you those thrills of just mashing your foot down and getting pinned back in your seat, I think what the AMG brings to the table is that extra drama, that extra feeling of tightness, because you get this in any other AMG. It's just that you don't get the feeling of those vibrations coming through the engine, that connection between the throttle pedal and your change of pace, that's a little subdued. But when you put your foot down, I think the EQS 53 is a lot more than just a one-trick pony. Thankfully, the EQS 53 isn't just exciting in a straight line. When you put it in Sport Plus, you get that nice AMG feel from it. And when you get to a set of corners, boy, you better be ready to point and shoot. So when you get to a set of twisties, you do feel like you have to muscle the car around a little bit. You do start to feel all of that 2.7 tons of weight that this thing is carrying around. But it's precise, and it's got a lot of grip. You do have a little bit of weight management to take care of, but then again, your throttle response is so instantaneous, you've just got to get the car turned in, and when you put your foot back down on the throttle, it feels like it shoots straight back up to where you left off, and that's a full throttle. Man! You actually need a little bit of calibration of your driving reflexes, because you have to be very metered with your throttle foot, or you'll end up upsetting the balance of the car. It's worth noting that AMG has tuned the air suspension and even have their own bespoke suspension components in there, like the rear subframe for one, but all of that doesn't result in a typically stiff AMG ride. Over really bad patches, I do find myself appreciating the extra comfort that this particular AMG brings to the table. I don't think I've driven an AMG this compliant before. At the same time, when you do start pushing it, you do have Sport Plus to fall back on. Just kind of pick up some of that slop that you might feel if you're pushing it in comfort. And once again, duality, the AMG special. There's another thing that will take some getting used to. In an AMG, you expect those big carbon ceramic brakes with massive stopping power and bite. But in the 53, you have to recalibrate yourself a little bit because the brakes are working on friction and regen at the same time. So there's not as much bite as you might like initially, but you do push further down on the pedal and then you get that stopping power, and it is quite impressive once you do that. There are 3 levels of regen braking to choose from via the paddle shifters, with one pedal driving possible in its strongest setting. When you're driving the EQS a little quickly, I think most people would prefer to just leave it in its normal recuperation mode, because the strong recuperation actually ends up being a little too strong. It feels like you're fighting the drivetrain at times. Now, some of you might be questioning the logic of AMG really showcasing its prowess in an electric car like the EQS. Maybe the first electric car should have been something smaller, a little more agile, but here's my take on this. If they can make a car like the EQS handle this nicely, I'm sure they can make anything with a set of batteries in it handle really well. Ultimately, an AMG is about the drama of the entire drive experience, which the EQS 53 only provides in its sportiest of drive modes. While some may feel shortchanged, there's no denying that if speed is your primary reason to buy an AMG, the EQS 53 more than delivers. In fact, it shocks and leaves you in awe. If we have to embrace the change of performance motoring, I can't see a better way to do it than in this.
At the launch event, Mercedes-Benz India did mention that they plan to set up the largest electric vehicle charging network over the span of the next few years. So it will garner a lot more interest in the electric vehicle space. We'll take a very quick break here on the show, but coming up on the other side, we'll tell you all about the uber luxurious Audi A8